자전거 한 대에 몸을 싣고 국토 종주에 나선 한 미국인 청년이 있습니다.
Dosan is my grandfather. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading lately. So, been studying Korean, took 2 months of Korean lessons. History Museum, House of Sharing.
여러 번 한국을 여행했던 이 미국인이 다시 돌아왔습니다.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Very handsome.
Travel, okay? Okay.
그런데 이번엔 찾아가는 곳들이 전과 조금 달랐습니다. 단순한 여행자가 아닌 한국의 눈부신 발전 뒤에 숨겨진 숭고한 역사와 사람들의 온기를 배우기 위해 다시 한국 땅을 밟았다는 이 남자. 두 바퀴로 대한민국 구석구석을 누비며 마주한 감동의 순간들, 지금 그 특별한 여정이 시작됩니다.
My first ever Hangan
Ramen, right?
It's nice. We're eating it on the Hangan. Like we're literally on the water.
김치.
Kimchi. Kimchi.
나도.
출발은 익숙했습니다. 한강에서 라면을 먹고 다시 자전거에 올랐죠.
I think the Han River might be my favorite place in Seoul.
차도와 완벽히 분리된 탁 트인 강변 자전거 전용 도로를 달리며 연신 감탄을 쏟아냅니다.
It's awesome. I love it. Like, look at these bridges. How cool is that? You can see Namsan Tower in the distance. You got Gangnam on one side. You got the northern side of Seoul on the other. And it's crazy to think, too.
하지만 그가 감탄한 것은 세계 최고 수준의 수변 인프라만이 아니었습니다. 닉은 자전거를 달리며 시청자들에게 100년 전 한강의 역사를 담담히 들려주기 시작합니다.
Like nowadays, there are around 30 bridges that cross the Hangan River. And I was looking it up, like 100 years ago, there were only 2 bridges that crossed the Han River. There were only 2 bridges. One was a railway line and the other one was for cars and pedestrians, I guess. But I only know that because, well, when I was reading about the Korean War, you read about how when the North attacked the South on June 25th, 1950, they were able to capture Seoul like within 2 or 3 days. And so people were leaving Seoul and fleeing south. And what happened, well, they blew up the only bridge that connected the north side of Seoul to the southern side at 2:30 a.m. 2 days after, on June 27th. And yeah, it was a horrific incident. Hundreds of people lost their lives and left a lot of people stranded on the northern side.
전쟁의 잿더미 위에서 반세기 만에 30개가 넘는 거대한 다리를 세우고 강남과 강북이 유기적으로 연결된 1000만 메가시티로 도약한 한강의 기적. 우리에겐 출퇴근길 매일 무심히 지나치던 다리 하나하나가 이방인의 눈에는 피와 땀으로 읽어낸 경이로운 번영의 상징이었던 셈입니다. 그런데 이번 여행을 전과 다르게 만드는 말은 바로 다음에 나왔습니다.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading lately. So, been studying Korean, took 2 months of Korean lessons, actually in this area over here. And then been reading books, and so there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. And we'll get there though, slowly, we'll get there. I wanted to come check out this park right here. The Dosan Neighborhood Park.
그가 첫 번째로 방향을 튼 곳은 강남의 도산공원이었습니다.
This is a guy who is one of Korea's most respected independence leaders during the Japanese colonial period from 1910 to 1945. There's a couple reasons I want to come check it out. One is because I like memorials, I like monuments and things like that. When I read about people like this in the books that I read, I want to come check it out. And the second reason I want to come check it out is because I've actually met this guy's grandson. Crazy story. I was in a cafe in Seongsu, actually, at one of my friend's cafes, and I was just in there hanging out, drinking a latte, and this guy comes in, this older gentleman. You know, I kind of thought he might be Korean, maybe he's half. Turns out he's from Hawaii. But I started talking to him, and he's like, yeah, Dosan is my grandfather. I'm like, for one, I didn't know who Dosan was at the time, but then he told me all about him, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, like one of Korea's most respected independence leaders and fighters during the Japanese colonial period. I'm sitting right next to his grandson. Thought that was pretty cool. And so it was one of those things, a lot of the independence revolutionaries, the fighters during the Japanese colonial period, they had to do a lot of their fighting outside of Korea because Japan had such a tight control over the people here. And so he went to San Francisco, he lived a lot of his life outside of Korea in the United States, in Shanghai. So he was all around trying to organize Koreans. One of his big things that he believed in, from what I understand, he was kind of like a Gandhi figure in a way. He believed to win the fight, you need to educate the people. You know, you don't need to win through military ways, through violence or whatnot, but education is the way to win. But yeah, really cool guy. His name is Flip. Those on the grandson.
우연히 만난 한 사람이 결국 책 속의 인물과 실제 장소를 찾아오게 만든 셈입니다. 일제의 가혹한 탄압 속에서 무력 투쟁을 넘어 교육과 인격 훈련을 통해 민족의 실력을 기르고자 했던 도산의 철학. 샌프란시스코와 상하이를 오가며 평생을 조국 독립에 바친 선열들의 헌신을 설명하는 닉의 목소리에는 깊은 진심이 묻어납니다. 한국의 번영 뒤에 깃든 숭고한 독립의 혼을 외국인의 입을 통해 전해 듣는 순간 가슴 한구석이 뭉클해지는 감동이 밀려옵니다.
Now this ain't too bad. Not quite full bloom, but almost. Got the sun out, feels good outside. Cycling underneath some cherry blossoms. Hi, and welcome to Gwangju, the other Gwangju. All right, so before we get on the road today, we're gonna stop by this Korean War Memorial that I guess sits on top of this hill right here. I didn't realize it was way up there. But dang, that's pretty dang beautiful. Look at that. All the cherry blossoms in full bloom. Got the big Gwangju sign. Beautiful, beautiful. And that's interesting. It's not just a Korean War Memorial. It's also a Vietnam War Memorial. And pretty much anyone who has served and fought for Korea. And down the hill from the other monument, you have this one. This one is dedicated to the March 1st movement in 1919. That was during the Japanese colonial period. They declared independence from the Japanese. I mean, this was only 9 years after the colonial period started. And yeah, it did help. It was a nationwide movement. Yeah, it might have helped in the short term here in Korea. They didn't win their independence, unfortunately, but it did help a little bit, I think. The Japanese did lighten up with their oppressive rule, I guess, but that only lasted for so long. Once the war cranked up, you know, a good 15 years later, 1936, and towards the end of their colonial rule, things got really, really bad here.
광주시 호국보훈공원. 나라를 위해 싸운 이들을 기리는 비석이 나란히 서 있습니다. 시대는 다르지만 이 언덕 위에 새겨진 이름들은 결국 하나의 메시지로 모입니다. 누군가의 희생이 지금 이 평화로운 봄날의 풍경을 가능하게 했다는 것.
Alright, so before we get out of Gwangju, we're gonna go check out a museum. It's actually the reason I came to Gwangju. So I recently read a book called White Chrysanthemum. It was a very sad and emotional book, and towards the end of it, it mentions this museum and this place that we're gonna go see. And so, of course, I had to get on the map and see where it is and notice that, hey, it's not too far from Seoul. It's on the way from here to Busan, kinda. And so, we're gonna go check it out.
메릴린 브라우트의 화이트 크리센서멈은 일제강점기와 전쟁으로 갈라진 두 자매의 이야기를 그린 역사소설입니다. 닉은 책에 등장하는 역사를 읽고 실제 관련 장소를 지도에서 찾아봤습니다. 그렇게 찾아온 곳이 경기도 광주의 나눔의 집입니다.
We made it. History Museum, House of Sharing. I think this is going to be pretty heavy. Yeah, I think so. Like right at the entrance, they have the statues of a lot of the women right there. Man, that is very haunting. Pretty much just how the book describes it too. Oh man. Yeah, as you can imagine, that one's a pretty hard one. I've read a lot about it before, so I knew going into it kind of what to expect. I'll just say kind of the hardest thing about that exhibition and that museum is just seeing all the faces and hearing their stories and what happened to them. And so, man, it's just heartbreaking, it's sad. I mean, it's just story after story. A lot of the stories, yeah, pretty much the same. Getting deceived, getting promised a job or an opportunity somewhere. And so the most challenging thing when reading those is just realizing that a lot of these women didn't come back to Korea right after. It's not exactly how things happen. It took a long time. And so part of the problem was that some of these women, as I read in there, they spent 30, 40 years of their life just kind of wandering around. Like the war was over and then they were in Okinawa, some of them were in Japan, some of them were in Papua New Guinea, some of them were in China. And you know, the war's over, what do they do? It's not like they have a free ride back to Korea. A lot of them were ashamed, a lot of them didn't know what to do, so they just did what they had to do, they survived. And it wasn't until later, I'm not sure when that was, the House of Sharing was built, but a lot of them found their way there, which was cool, and they were able to live out the rest of their lives with other victims. And
나눔의 집은 1992년 일본군 성노예제 피해 생존자들의 생활 공간으로 시작했고 1995년 현재의 광주로 옮겨왔습니다. 이곳에는 관련 역사를 기록하는 역사관도 자리하고 있습니다. 전시에서 닉의 시선을 붙잡은 것도 숫자가 아니라 결국 한 사람 한 사람의 얼굴과 삶이었습니다. 화려한 관광 명소에 머물지 않고 한국 현대사의 가장 아픈 상처까지 진심으로 보듬고 기억하려는 이 청년의 태도는 보는 이들의 마음을 숙연하게 만듭니다. 무거운 역사를 뒤로하고 다시 길 위에 오른 닉에게 한국의 따뜻한 온기가 찾아옵니다.
안녕하세요.
No presents.
Oh, thank you so much. Would you like a sticker?
Yes,
Hold on, let me.
I'm your big fan.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
네. 고맙습니다. 잘 가질게요.
No, thank you so much.
네,
Wow, thank you.
고맙습니다.
Oh, wow. All kinds of goodies. Thank you. 감사합니다. Oh, nice. I was thinking about stopping for a snack too. Nice. Ooh, let's see here. Some sweet. We got some sweet red bean and cream. Well, let's see here. Oh yeah, Gatorade, perfect. Let's see here. Oh yeah, protein bar, some water, some snacks. Oh, so good. Hey, what's up?
I'm your big fan.
Oh really?
Yes.
Wow.
I know you have been Thailand, Vietnam.
Yes, I did go.
When you come.
I was in Vietnam last year, and then I went back home to America, and now I'm here.
Really?
Are you in the Air Force?
No, Army.
Army.
Yes.
Army, okay.
Apache Guardian.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
I'm your subscriber.
Awesome, man. Would you like a sticker?
Thank you. Then
길가에 차를 세우고 달려와 팬이에요를 외치며 갓 구운 단팥빵과 시원한 이온 음료를 한가득 안겨주는 시민. 휴가 중 우연히 닉을 발견하고 반갑게 인사를 건네며 군 보안 앱 때문에 사진을 못 찍어 아쉬워하던 순박한 현역 군인과의 만남까지. 낯선 이방인에게 아무런 조건 없이 먹을 것을 쥐어주고 응원의 마음을 전하는 한국 특유의 따뜻한 정문화가 길 위에서 펼쳐진 거죠. 2달이나 한국어를 공부했지만 아직 이런 순간도 있습니다.
Some Chinese food tonight at Chokane. Sounds pretty good, actually. My Korean is terrible. Oh, wow. Oh, oh. Doesn't that look good though? You saw that coming out of the kitchen, wouldn't you be like, yeah, I want that? I think so. I get this a lot at the kimbap places, but this is better. This is good. This is good. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Gym. It's got this big room right here, small kitchen over there. Yeah, this big room right here to sleep, hang out. Got a couple saunas. Got the shower upstairs.
동네 소박한 식당에서 불맛 가득한 제육덮밥 한 접시를 깨끗이 비워내고 뜨끈한 찜질방 온돌 바닥에서 하루의 고단함을 녹여내며 하루를 마무리하는데요. 달리던 자전거 도로 위에서 닉이 발견한 것은 단순히 아름다운 풍경만이 아니었습니다. 시련을 딛고 일어선 눈부신 번영, 잊지 말아야 할 역사의 아픔, 그리고 언제 어디서나 낯선 이를 따뜻하게 품어주는 한국인들의 고운 마음이었습니다. 우리가 매일 무심히 지나치던 한강의 다리와 강변길이 이방인에게는 깊은 감동과 배움을 안겨주는 기적의 공간이 되었습니다. 여러분은 외국인 친구에게 꼭 소개해주고 싶은 우리 일상 속 특별한 역사나 장소가 있으신가요? 여러분의 소중한 이야기를 댓글로 들려주세요. 오늘 영상이 마음에 닿으셨다면 구독과 좋아요 부탁드리며 다음 시간에도 더 깊이 있는 이야기로 찾아뵙겠습니다. 외국인의 시선을 통해 한국을 재발견하는 코리아 감탄 로그였습니다. 감사합니다. 언제나 행복하세요.